I should start by declaring an interest in this Pride debate. The Daily Mail once referred to me as an ex-gay vicar. I'm an ex-vicar, but the other stuff is coming along quite nicely, thank you very much. In fact, I'm a practicing homosexual. One day I'll be quite good at it. Sir Roger, people ask me, why on earth do you need a Pride Month? Do you really need LGBT History Month? What's the point of Pride marches and Pride flags? Hasn't the world changed? Haven't you already got same-sex marriage and adoption, gays in the police and the military, and laws that protect people from discrimination on the grounds of their sexual orientation or gender reassignment? What more do you want? That's what I hear all the time, even from really well-meaning liberal souls. But we've always needed pride. We needed it when people lazily assumed that a short haircut meant you were a lesbian, or a lisp meant you were gay. We needed it when people laughed at Larry Grayson and John Inman, but forced them to hide their sexuality. We needed it when people said we should be harassed, arrested, and locked up for loving who we wanted. We needed it when the police wore rubber gloves to arrest us, just in case we gave them AIDS. We needed it when we were called queer and faggot and arse bandit at school. We needed it when we were sneered at, spat at, punched, kicked and beaten up. And we need it now, when kids are still bullied because they're camp or butch, when families still throw their LGBT children out of the home, when many are so worn down by abuse that they take their own lives, when so many are so terrified of coming out that they live lives of terrible, crushing loneliness, when people are abused for wanting to transition, when our cousins in Hungary are denied the right to demonstrate, when the state police in many countries deliberately entrap homosexuals, when trans people are treated as less than human, when homosexuality is still illegal in 63 countries, including 38 that apply those rules to women, and including more than half of the Commonwealth. Yes, we still need pride.
Does my honourable friend agree with me? The first Pride March, I think, in London was in 1972, and there's many people who I've met who was on that first Pride March who thought they would never need to march again and still need to march more now. But does my honourable friend feel sorry that they've now said that no political parties are allowed to march because of how the LGBTQI plus community has been treated? I will still be marching because I don't normally I march with groups. But does my honourable friend agree with me that this is a sad state of affairs?
I think we should be absolutely proud of the fact that politics has changed the law in this country, and political parties were absolutely essential to that. Of course, I pay tribute to everybody in my political party who for many, many generations fought for equality, but it's true in the Conservative Party as well, where people in many cases had to be even braver than they did in the Labour movement, and of course in many other political parties as well. So yes, I think it's an entirely retrograde step to ban people from political parties from taking part in Pride marches. Right.
Thank you. Mr Deputy Speaker, in contrast to the Minister, I fully support these decisions being made by the major Pride organisations telling us as political parties we are not welcome this year on their parades or marches. Is the Minister not as sad as I am at the absolute state of political policy and discourse around trans rights, which has directly led to this action? Yes.
Well, I'll come on to some of the problems that I think we have in a few moments, but honestly, when I was first elected as a Member of Parliament here, there were still many laws in this country that dramatically and drastically affected the rights of LGBTQ people in this country. And it's because of political parties that we changed the law in this country. And we shouldn't discard the democratic process. It's absolutely essential to being able to secure our rights. Sir Roger, we need to remember that we in this country used to hang men for having sex together, that we used to imprison men just for meeting or sending each other a love note. This is a serious business, Sir Roger, but we also need to celebrate. I remember one of the Pride marches I went on, and we shouted all the way, we're here, we're queer, and we've not gone shopping. And we chanted it all the way down Oxford Street, which is ironic in itself. But we have to celebrate, because not every LGBT story is a tragedy, and I wish the film and television industry would learn this. We are extraordinarily normal. Terrible word, really, but we are actually phenomenally normal. We bleed when you cut us, we laugh when you tickle us, and we can defy every stereotype going. I hate to break it to you, Sir Roger, but not all gay men like musicals. I don't understand this, but I've met a few. And frankly, apparently not all lesbians enjoy tennis or smoke cigars. And yes, we can laugh at ourselves. I don't know what's going on behind me.
I thank my honourable friend for giving way, and I would like to put it on the record that I've never enjoyed a cigar, but I would dispute the fact that most lesbians don't enjoy tennis.
Well, I'm not sure whether it's tennis or tennis players. A bit like rugby and rugby players, Sir Roger. Indeed, of course we can laugh at ourselves, and it's a really important part of this that we're able to do so.
Today, 2/3 of LGBTQ+ people in the UK still report experiencing abuse or violence because of their sexuality or identity. Trans people in particular face constant attacks. Just a few weeks ago, I witnessed a vile incident with abuse hurled at a trans person walking down a high street in my North Cornwall constituency. In 2023, a Home Office report found that comments by politicians and the media over the previous year could have led to a huge spike in such offences. This brings shame on this House and our entire country. I will give way.
The gentleman for giving way. He's making an incredibly powerful and important point. And one of the words we haven't yet used in this debate is allyship. One of the challenges right now is that too often it falls to the shoulders of our LGBTQ+ sisters and brothers to fight these fights, because actually those of us who would consider ourselves allies maybe haven't been as vocal as we've needed to be. Let all of us pledge, allies alike, to join the fight to make sure we live in a country where everybody can be who they want to be without fear.
I thank the Honourable Lady for that intervention and really warmly welcome her offer of being an ally, and I agree that it's just so important to the LGBTQ+ community to have that alliance, so thank you for that intervention. As well as politicians, public figures desperate for attention and relevance like J.K. Rowling and others have poisoned the public discourse with attacks on our trans community, all under the false dichotomy that you cannot be a true feminist and protect women's rights without attacking and abusing the trans community. A phony culture war which has left trans people fearful just to be themselves. The tone of this debate has just been so un-British, much more like the US, where everything is dealt with in extreme absolutes, black and white, right and wrong, no compromise, no respect or compassion for one of the most vulnerable groups in our society. It's horrible to see how hate has been weaponised for political gain. I know how it feels to think of yourself as broken, to feel like society will never accept you, ashamed to admit to friends and family who you really are, and that things might just be better if you didn't exist at all. Surely in 2025 we can do so much better and make sure trans people are seen and valued for who they truly are.
In terms of the decision that's been taken by a huge number of pride organisations, or by a number of pride organisations, we've got no entitlement to be there. There is no entitlement for political parties to be allowed to take part in pride. For all that we've done great things 50 years ago, 25 years ago, 5 years ago, 2 years ago, the changes in relation to LGBT veterans, for example, the recourse that's being provided to them, those are all good things. That does not mean that we should not be held to account for our lack of action, for failing to protect trans people properly, for seeing an increase in the hate crimes that we're seeing. It is absolutely right that pride organisations should be able to use their voice to say to every one of us in this House, you're not doing good enough. You need to do better. We need you to do more in order to protect the community. And if this is the way that they choose to use their voice, absolutely go for it. I took part in our Pride in Aberdeen, as I have done on many, many occasions, including the first first one 25 years ago in Aberdeen. I took part in it and marched, as I always do, with the crowd in the Pride Parade, not with Out for Independence, just with all of the people that I represent. It is the case that every one of us in this place needs to do better. We need to improve lives for our trans constituents. We need to fight this rolling back of rights because people are terrified